batati je isa kodo ta no la ka bonam bantala bankol to bidding UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland anin yin banku tumal mu beto na doku sone yata atariyata akoita andung allan na yata Gambia banko kan Supersonics le dinkiral siyata katambinyin tumal mu meti Supersonics be banku tan sabani nani le to fota findu bankol to dung ila Google Play Store to wala ila Apple app sign ye Supersonics la money transfer app o download pour que ifa munafang na service la.
African Oriental Store Africa America kono mole season fengol sotalie anin fengo mume be aliye mume ya Gambia banko kan tuluse da sama jorangol kan beef African Oriental Store nyilale fengol natalie falla bunda ko ngoto mole nete tuwo sotalie tiamun ko sefo subo African Oriental Store nyinom bitikoti mu yale sulata fengo fenna isa soto no jele na mano sotalie le mirango tame nyintingo andi churayo anin fana manyina ke wala muli yalon ko walal buka bambang ila futu bungo kono na borol sotale boro mi yalon ko asema ko ino ila futu larango kan wali abayal sotale samato anin abaye façon jamal mon man nyina kewalla mul yalon ko wallal kala fi haftano la na tobano sotale anin churayo iba dawon daranding ñu US anin Canada banko kan isom ordering kalele website to mumu www.orientalafricanminimart.com ka sipin fanan kalele African Oriental Store Africa America kono bata banta fere mun tata famo million jama wala li nyim pengota coronavirus musasa sotoringalsi andin amala nyim mukelati wala nyim musulati amal sibo nyoto mo wili jama fata findu banko kan wala li nyim sasa soto andin ay faale coronavirus man jaral soto bari fanan akibar dima mumunti ay pengu sotole
It is still trying. So nonetheless, we would still have our class. And how will we have our class? We will learn from other experts as well. So I want people to tell me, what do they know about voice over? What do you know about voice over? So you can tell us, okay? The mic is here. So I want to have a very, very interesting class before Mr. Joof come in. All right? So let's just try and give our ideas. Any try? No, it's okay. Who and who are around? I think these are the people. It's okay. The camera is seeing it. Mr. Joof will see all of them. So can somebody try and tell us what voice over means, please? Any try? Any try? Huh? Huh? You all don't know what voice over means. All right.
Good morning. Voice over means the report that you do on a video or news, whether it is documentary or stuff. So that is voice over. It's a short report that a journalist do.
Can I try? Okay. To me, what I understand from voiceover, it's a professional voice, you know, that actors or narrators do when you come to projects like entertainment or like the media project, like Aissatou rightly mentioned. That's what I understand from voiceover.
All right, thank you. Any other try? All right, let's hear from
Good morning. The process in which an individual reads a report over a video on a particular project.
Okay. Any other try?
tell us your opinion. What do you think it's
Can I have another person try? Any other try? Huh? Do you, okay.
Okay, voice over man li ma si understand mooy comme topic bi li nga xamante ne moom nga laajte nit ñi yow si sa bopp nga understand ko nga explainal ko ñi nga xam ne ñoo lay déglu wala ñoo lay seetaan yow sa bopp nga résumé ko daal mooy nga tënk ko man loolu laa si understand.
Alright. So any other try? Any other try? Alright. So but do we all hear people say, defal my voice over? Do we hear people say, please do voice over? Do we hear that? So here it is. We are going for a professional definition. A voiceover is a narration done by a broadcast reporter, usually reading a script. The reporter's voice is recorded over a sequence of video clip that tells a story. Can I repeat myself? A voiceover is a narration done by a broadcast reporter. Voiceover is a narration done by a broadcast reporter. Can I go? Usually reading from a script, full stop. Voiceover is a narration done by a broadcast reporter, usually done from a script. The reporter's voice is recorded. The reporter's voice is recorded over a sequence of video clip that tells a story. Should I go back? Video. Clip is CLIPS. The reporter's voice is recorded over a sequence of video clip that tells a story. Shall I go again? All right. The reporter's voice is recorded over a sequence of video clip that tells a story.
It's recorded over
Sequence. 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 The reporter's voice is recorded over a sequence of video clip that tells a story. Are you getting it? Should I repeat the whole sentence? Huh? Okay. So let me read it again. A voiceover is a narration done by a broadcast reporter, usually reading from a script. The reporter's voice is recorded over a sequence of video clip that tells a story. Are we good? So now, do we understand this? Huh? And here it's saying this. So don't write that one. Just understand it. Here it's telling us that voiceover, television news often presented as a series of video clips of worthy news event. The voiceover by the reporter described the circumstance of the scene. Do we understand? So who can tell me what this is saying before I play a voiceover for us? Okay. The definition that I just read right now, that is just telling you that a voiceover is something that you read to understand. Like, let's say, for instance, we are going to the provinces. Let's say a particular village, let's say Badibu, there is no water. At Badibu, people are struggling so hard to get basic water. And we all know water is a necessity. But there is no water. So as a journalist, what you do is you will go there, and when you go there, you will try to observe the situation. Let's say, for instance, people are going to the borehole to fetch water, and people walk miles just to get that borehole. Let's say the whole Badibu, only one borehole is there. And you will see women that are pregnant. You will see women that are breastfeeding. You will see children going there just to help their parents. Is that not a story that you want to write about? Is that not a story that you want to report? So if you are reporting this, you must put a voiceover on it. How will you do it? Now let's try to do that as a team, okay? All right. So you are writing your script, and I would do it in Wolof so that we can all understand, or some of us will understand, okay? When you are doing voiceover, you should have your pen and your paper. Today's date is what? 18. So since when is Badibu not having water? You would also ask that to the people. So when you ask people, say, for now, get into 1 month, no water, we are dying, even to cook, even to clean, you know, all those things people say. You just have it down, you write it down. You say no water, no food, people struggle. Some people even go to the borehole and they start fighting. So you as the reporter, you can report that story in less than 3 minutes with a voiceover that will impress everybody. How will you do it? Let's just have something to narrate, okay? So you will be like, a village called Badibu, 30 meters away from the highway. People are struggling very, very, very hard. What is happening at Badibu? There is no water. How are families surviving? Are people still struggling? Let us hear from the people. And you hear Bina Jigen, Indah amut, sonanen tayinen damanen, ngurbi, defun fidara, gay bahun, tirayalun nyo, anasun MPB, anasun Namsi, analing, you as the journalist will be, gay joinen. And you hear somebody say, Indah amut, ndah amut. The poor woman is crying bitterly, explaining her story. And the same woman come again. Ndeysaan, ay man election bi duma votal ken. Gay den bon den ñaaw, dun def dara lu baax. Fu nekk dëkk bi sonna nen. You as the journalist went further and said, let us hear what the woman has to tell the people of Badibu. Bu ken votal nguur bi. Bu ken votal ben politician parce que am nañ problème bi ken ñëw jàppale ñu. This woman continued to say that the people of Badibu should not do any voting this year because they lack water, they don't have their basic necessity. Some of them even said for weeks or months they don't take bath. Man git na sangu 10 days. 10 days sangu ma. Yep, because of ñàkk ndox bi. Are you not liking that story? In less than 3 minutes, your story is done, okay? So now, let me just play one video for you by BBC so that we can know what voiceover is all about, okay? So, there is this voiceover here. Let's just listen to this.
What if you could ethically hijack your competitor's traffic and send it directly into your own funnel? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can do just that using targeted YouTube video ads, just like the one you're watching right now. This is essentially taking your video ad and putting it in front of your competitors' videos on YouTube.
So I will give you different videos. So let's watch BBC on the COVID-19.
We call her Mother Ganga. It's also one of the most polluted rivers in the world. Every day, around 3 billion liters of sewage flows into the river. And India's recent second COVID wave has the potential to make things much worse.
The scene over here is just heartbreaking. It is of helplessness, of neglect, of apathy.
So you hear is the journalist just started, and now the other person is explaining what he or she is feeling. So look at this voiceover. In less than 2 minutes, it's done. All right? This is just a 4 minute.
This is a very popular ghat, as we call in Hindi, where people come to cremate or to bury the dead bodies. But during COVID times, the number of people who have been buried here is very, very high. It's very unusual. So this is what I see. It's strewn across. It's quite a big span. Now the question that is being asked, that what will be the health hazard, what will be the environmental pollution problem of this area once when monsoon hits. And obviously, you know, if it goes up to that level, all these bodies, then they will flow into the river, polluting the river water. This satellite image was taken from the same area near the city of Prayagraj during last year's monsoon. You can see how the sandbank where the bodies have been buried gets completely submerged by the river. Environmentalists say it's a disaster waiting to happen.
When the rain sets in, sand will be eroded, this body will be exposed, and body will come in the main stream of the river. Well, there will be decomposition. Secondly, this is a river. This water is used for irrigation. This water is used for drinking. This water used for other commercial purposes because of the fishing and aquatic animals. How aquatic animals will be survive? More than 400 million people directly depend on the Ganges for their livelihood.
अगर गंगा जी नहीं रहेंगी तो आप बुरा माने इस भारत का ही विनाश समझ हो जाएगा। वो चाहे मैं हूँ, चाहे मल्ला हो, चाहे फूल हो, चाहे दूध वाला हो, चाहे किसान हो, चाहे कोई भी फैक्ट्रियाँ हो, वो सब गंगा सहारे चल रही हैं। अगर ये खत्म होते तो बहुत से बिजली और तमाम सब काम बंद हो जाएंगे। ये आप जान लीजिए। इसमें कोई राह नहीं।
It's incredible how many times political parties have made election promises to clean up the Ganga, but how little has actually been achieved. People feel the holiest river could have been saved from this latest threat, but the authorities say these are unusual times.
इतना भय और इतनी महामारी थी क्योंकि सुविधाओं का भी थोड़ा सा ये था कि उतनी लकड़ी नहीं मिली किसी को, तो उसने इतना गड्ढा किया और उसके ऊपर रख के बालू ऊपर कर दिया।
आपको क्या ये बड़ी चुनौती या रिन्यूड चुनौती लगती है क्या, क्योंकि ये सारी बॉडीज जब पानी में जाएंगी तो उसका प्रदूषण होगा, इन्वायरमेंटल इम्प्लिकेशंस होगा, हेल्थ हैजार्ड हो सकता है?
ऐसा नहीं, हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं और जहाँ भी बॉडीज घाट के किनारे पे हैं थोड़ा, उन्हें हम जेसीबी से थोड़ा और गड्ढा करके उन्हें दबाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि उन्हें दबा दिया जाए और दबा के थोड़ा सा ये है कि पानी घाट के किनारे वाली चीज़ों को थोड़ा कम हटा दिया जाए। इतनी पुरानी बॉडी है तो अब उसको हाथ लगाने भी लायक नहीं है, उठाने लायक भी नहीं है, और वो जब 7 से 8 फीट नीचे दब जाएगी तो फिर उसे पानी से भी कोई खतरा नहीं रहेगा कि वो पानी में जाएंगी।
It's ironic that it's taken the pandemic to focus attention back onto the sorry state the Ganges finds itself in after decades of abuse. Sadly, what it stands for just now is yet another example of the damage COVID has caused worldwide. And it will need far more than faith and promises and prayers to bring Ganga back to her glory.
So tell me, how do you see this? Do we understand? Can I play another one that has to do with maybe Wolof and Mandinka as well so that we can understand more? Maybe that has to do with English. What is it called? Yeah, but that was deep. Huh? I didn't get you. Yes, you know those people are Indians. Hmm? You're not yet doing, right? Okay, so some of you that do news, this is how the voice over come. Sometimes even the voice over that people go out and do, you can use it on your news, and at the same time the media platform can also share that content different from the news. Let's say for instance right now, in Gambia, cemeteries like Bamel, people don't normally go there and clean. Let's say some of us, we said, okay, I want to do a voiceover when it comes to these cemeteries. Okay, let's go to the Joshua Cemetery. It's one of the biggest cemetery. Do people usually go there to just go and clean, or only when we have somebody that died we go there? So you as a general, you can have a very interesting story out of that. You just said Gambia ñetti suñ deyee dañ leen den dem suuli ji si baamel yi baamel yi nag ñu bari duñ dee dem si baamel ba suñ amee nit ko dee waaye am na ñu bari ñoo xam ne bale baamel daf leen itteel rawatina nag ba si ajuma. You know, some Fridays, some people normally go to the mosque and clean, and also Sundays. So you go there and then you meet one dahaba. And dahaba said, baamel bi daf dee tilim kenn du dee bale baamel bi waaye baamel bi daf dee ñaaw ba bugg a dee yow soo dee kan moo la koo seetal. So dama encourage ñëpp ñu dem nga ne waaye moom nag mer na ne Gambian su dee bale baamel waaye kan moo responsible xanaa imam bi dafa war a xutba lii. You ask the person. Then moom mi ne déedéet imam warut a wax kenn mu dem mu clean baamel. At least you have seen yourself in that story. In less than just 3 minutes, you have a very powerful news. You understand? In less than 3 minutes, you have a powerful thing. It's not like you can go all over and them a full vox pop or whatsoever. Just 1 minute, you can have a very good story out of it together with your voice over. So let's listen to the Senegalese news and then go with it. This is TFM.
Géejuwaay ci diiru benn fan képp lu toll ci fukk nit ñàkk nañ seen bakken ci géej googule dañoo lapp ba léegi nag ñu ngi wëy di seet ñi nekkoon ci biir géej gi te gisuñu seeni koor ba léegi xamuñu ñi réer tamit lim bi ñaata la. Cheikh Diop mu ngi ca plage bu Malika. Cheikh, ginnaaw ba ñu la nuyoo ba noppi ñu laaj la rek xibaar yu mujj yi nga am ci seet gi fan lañ ci toll ak li jéye ji xew foofu.
Naata maa ngi lay nuyu di nuyu mbokku téléspectateur yu télévision Futurs Médias. Gis ngeen ko ni ngeen ko gisee nii ñu ngi fii ci plage bu Malika. Ku nekk xam na jéey ji nga xam ne moom moo fi am ni ki démb ci dibeer bi ba lu ëpp juróom-ñeent ci ay doomi aadama daal di ci ñàkk seen bakken ñoom ñëpp di ay tout tànk bi ñu ñëwee fii nga xam ne fii la xew-xew wi amee woon teewul fekkaat nañ fi ay yeneen i doomi aadama yoo xamante ni ñëw nañ pour sangu. Gis nañ fi sax ay élèves yoo xamante ni dañu ñëw ndax jàpp nañ ne dañoo am pause seen école. fii la ñu war a mën a toog ngir rek daal di féexlu ginnaaw itam bi ñu rek joxe suñu micro ñenn ci ñoo xamante ni fekk nañ leen fi li ñu wax moom moo di war nañ mën a renforcer li nga xam ne moom moo di sécurité bi bu baax a baax.
ba ñu déggee nouvelle bi ñëpp daw ñëw quoi tom nag affaire bu metti décès boo xamante ne bañ juddoo ba léegi mosuñu koo gis quoi vraiment loolu moom war nañ cee jóg bu baax a baax a baax ci affaire xale yi.
maanaam dañu taggu ne ci terrain football yi la ñu dem. war ko demuñu foofu fii la ñu ñëw loolu la métti na de.
chaque jour ñu ngi fiy ñëw man dañ see baax ba xam cour yi dafa tëj wala mais tamit sécurité bi war nañ ko gën a dolli parce que la police est ici même pas 1 kilomètre il est près de la plage donc war na am taxawaay ba nga xamante ni war nañ ko wut fii ba boo ñëwee nekk si zone ba nga xamante ni zone danger la sax ñu ne la carrément kaay zone bi nga nekk nii baaxul.
lim bi bari na waaye tam leneen loo xamante ni mënees nañ koo jàpp mu di responsabilité li nga xam ne ñoom ñoo di waajur yi ndax itam war nañoo mën a xool tout tànk yi bu baax a baax ana fan la ñuy dem fan la ñuy dugg ngir rek ñu mën a wuyu jéey yoo xamante ni ñu ngi koy faral di nemmeeku ci li nga xam ne rek moom moo di plage yi soxna Naata Mbaye.
jërëjëf Cheikh Diop nekkoon en direct ci ca.
Do we get that? Do we get it? How we understand? I will bring one in Mandinka very soon. But then here it says, how do you write a voice over? You can write that and I will give you the tips. Walaikum salam. How do you write a voice over? One. How do you write a voice over? Yeah, no, she want to be part of the meeting. So you can just speak and then put it on speaker. Azali, number 1. Huh? So tell her to call somebody else. Are we good? How do we write a voice over? If you need to help making transition, what is it called? Transition from I to here. Here are some of the tips. If you need to help in making transition from I to here, Do we understand that? Eye to hear. If you need help making transition from eye to hear, here are some tips. Are we good? What is eye to hear? That's what I said, eye to hear. Then you are saying from the eye to the ear.
But you know, people see, but they wouldn't know unless if you narrate the story, let them see and let them hear it.
All right. Then, like, all of you know, where the gis bokut say. So sometimes certain things can happen. Like, let's say right now in Gambia, politics is going very nasty. So if you say politics is going very nasty, some people might not understand what you mean by politics is going very nasty. But if you hear one politician insult and you bring that insult, another politician insult, and then you bring it, and somebody condemn that, then you are not only bringing only their audio, but people will see their faces. That's why they say voiceover. You see this guy, you see him. He went to the beach and show you how people are struggling. So whenever you are narrating, whenever you are doing voiceover, you should bring the reality. It's not about you just go and say, okay, right now, Dahaba minafadano sera kuna masa, and you just go and meet Dahaba at his house or her house and say, Dahaba nakanga def lan mo hell. Go exactly to the place at Serakuna where Dahaba fall down, so that you can show a video of that place. It will make people to have the eye to the ear. Okay, so here are some tips. One say, write like you speak. Write like you speak. Write. WRITE. Like you speak. 2. Get to the point quick. 3. Speak with one voice. 4. Keep this sentence short. 'Are we good? Avoid reading text. Okay. Pay attention to the lyrics or beat. And 7, use silence effectively. That is, pay attention to the lyrics or beats. Lyrics is spelled as RHYTHM. Yes. Yes. RHYTHM. RHYTHM or beats. All right, and the other one say use silence effectively. So we are moving to the other question that say, what is the purpose of a voiceover? Can I go? What is the purpose of a voiceover? The voiceover is a film technique that is utilized in virtually every film. The voiceover is a film technique. Technique is spelled as TECHIQUE. TECHNIQUE. That is utilized, UTILIZED, past tense, in virtually every film. Are you lost, Dahaba? Okay. The voiceover is a film technique that is utilized in virtual every film. Technique, TECHNIQUE. The voiceover is a film technique that is utilized in virtually every film. Can I move? Can I read it again? The voiceover is a film technique that is utilized in virtual every film. VIRTUALLY. Yes. Virtual every film. And here it says, filmmakers use voiceover to provide quick exposure, tell stories, narrate and provide. Can I go back? Filmmakers use voiceover to provide even fast, tell me, I am here for you, okay? Filmmakers use voiceover to provide quick exposure. Sorry, not exposure, sorry. Exposition. EXPOSITIONS. Filmmakers use quick voiceover to provide quick exposition, tell story, narrate and provide an intimate look into the mind and character. Tell story, narrate and provide an intimate look into the mind and character. Okay, good, thank you.
That's what I really love.
So, are we good? Shall I repeat it? Filmmakers use voiceover to provide quick exposition, tell story, narrate and provide an intimate look into the mind and character. So voiceover, what it is just trying to do is just to make the story short and make people understand and feel like if they were part of the story. So that's why they said voiceover should not be lengthy. Because when it is lengthy, it means you don't need people to explain their story. You were there, but allow people to say their story. So you only give them the chance to say what they feel and complete it for them, okay? So let us watch QTV News in Mandinka, all right? And we see what we would.
About Vimeo, there's just a diversity of creatives that we.
Okay, let's watch this, okay?
Assalamu alaikum badi mannin ko na kam moy lalum bali be konton na QTV television bundala aningal tol men kan la moy tu radio la fannala kada bo men no kan noma jamal la bam banda bala ka mo nyoto la kunya la karola fang ate pap sen anim fanam banko la taman.
Okay, so I want us to look at the Papsen story. He's one of the biggest journalists in Gambia. that is still alive. These are the doyen journalists that have served the media for more than 40 years, and they're still practicing, and they're doing very well. And so many people like us pass through maybe their hands. So it's good we see how these journalists narrate the story in Mandinka, and you would love it.
Gambia banko ila ngaraba ni nara kibar tani kibar janja la doku tamandir fannala ikafa e papsen a telefona mu moti me kurkur loke kibar kayto la fannala ikafo me point newspaper Gambia banko kanjang atel nara ke moti mi alon ko ye kere kere nyarandiro sika ka diala me yalon abe dending ni nara safaro la tamandiri fannala banku nim banku tema fannala karola ikafo damento International Business Executive Magazine Award inara ko nyarandiro nyinta ka diala ate papsen abe alfallel kono mennu yalon kibar tani kibar janjang la karola mennu nene jamano la ilota Gambia banko e baki pour kaje ko de tamandir lonkan la fanna membe den nin kibar janjang nyinna bala bo nyoto la kunya la karola fang ate papsen anim fanam banko la tamandir lonkan la karola atarta dending ni nada pour ka lonkan soto mennu farmansa da baki anun anata nan ka bantala banko la nyarandirota ka soto ate papsen ni lonkan tamandir fanna mi yalon ko ay wollelta ka sotondi ni nada nyarandiro la karola inada pour ka ke moti mi yalon ko de nyaton ko lu la karola sango nyinna fanna la ya teleta fata findu kono pour ka wo kidimandirota ka diala nyarandiro mi yalon ko wolemu nyaton ko me wane ata molu beti ni nada hormo ala kere tamandir fanna amari la do ko dur koto ni sayo nyin na karola ay menta ka tamandi santam bilala karol nyin kafo italla lonkan tamandir bulo mi yalon ko wala mu ila kibar kayti tamandir fanna nyinti safaro la ko la karola inada katara dennim pour ka jako ila kibar janjandir bulo fankola fannala anin kibaro la kuolu menu be denni safaro la tamandir fannala hada maya kada fo fankola kuola sementu andro la karola parafindula tiliji anin lonkan kotan wala mu ito lallo dula nyindi ate Gambia bankola kibar tala anin kibar janjanna ke bañim papsen abren tumala menna abe kuma kawol tala pour ka di ni nata alanyin kanyo nyin na fanna akode amu molti mi ya lonko alanyin kere kanyo abasikala ka di Gambia banko dingol la nyin kamala ye lo dula menta pour ka te bambu ka sembentu andi mi ya lonko wole be dennin surtout wato la karola ko be kolaring ate bulu wato menna alaw do ku tamandir fanna nyin kono ate papsen amu molti mi ya lonko anata nan pour ka fintin drol ke ni nata natalo la mabori kitabo la karola memu albumodi damentu ya lonko ate ani mo jamalu dunya la nyaton ko la fannala ila kumbengolu menu ya lonko le tariku natalo be landire ngabul anu natalo nyina fannala ate papsen anu modo mi yalon ko anene keda nyaton ko di Palestine banko la fannala Yasser Arafat ade papsen anata le puruka wola natalo aning ate ka itandi kada fo Abdoulaye Wade me president yake no Senegal banko kan anim Burkina Faso ila Blaise Compaoré anim Félix Houphouët-Boigny mi yalon ko wole boda Ivory Coast anim fanan tala General Ousmane Mané Guinée-Bissau banko la fannala anim momi yalon ko anene keda no president ni nada fata findula kata dam fo tamandir fannala Karola Isa Hayatu kada fo dunya la nyaton ka jamalu ate papsen kibar tala nyaton ko nyin amu molti mi yalon ko jiko be jele ko alayin kanyo mi yalon ka woleta ka sotondi obe kala susundir landi fonninke jamalu men be kibar tani kibar janjaw la fannala pour isala simpanya alta kawol noma membe tar la dending ni nata ate ala lonkan kendo la karola anim fana nyaton ka dolu menu yalon ko wollel mu ate ala doñolti anim menu denta jamano la kibar tani kibar janjaw la do ko la fannal ate pap bayring wolem toti mi yalon ko jama ka kumandi walla ala sanji tallulu do ku tamandir fanna kibar tanin kibar janjaw nyin na karola amu molti mi yalon ko tarta kibar tanin kibar janjaw la tamandir fanna do ku ke kanne dinkray damen to yalon ko wolem kibar janjaw la fanna di mem man nane sodo ni nada nay fata findu tiliji berbero nyin na karola sanji tang ani woro la konto nyindo anada fanan kake kibar tanin kibar janjaw do ku ladi ni nada fata findu ila kata dam fu tamandiri kafuba nyin na karola sanji say konto nyin kono ade papsen anara kake modi mi alon ko ay wati jam fanan sotondi pour kake kibar janjan nati Reuters News Agency fata findula karola anim fana mo molti mi alon ko ani wole do ko kele sanji tannani ani lulu konto nyina fanna ade papsen jamaka ataka afinare nin kitabo la fanna la mi alon ko wole fudiroke Gambia banko ila kibar janjan la fanna balabo nyoto la silo nyina karola kode atemu fanka solti o fanna nyinna karola ade pap sen nara ke modi mi ya lonko ay lonkan simfanya jamal tamandi men kada gambia banko la kata dam fo la tariko la fannati ana mu moti mi ya lonko kata dam fo dolu menu sodota dunia ila kata dam fu nyose abala karola memu wol kopti anim fada findu bela kata dam fu nyose la tamandiro la karola si nya tanni woro ayewota puruka wo kibari janjango tamandi anim fanan ate papsen anara ke modi me kanyo ke 1988 men tarta denni ni nata nyinin kar tamandir fanna ni jabirola fata findula kata dam fola tariko nyinna karola 2006 sangwata papsen nara ke modi me alonko inada puruka sankala ya membe denning ni nara kibar janjango nyinna tamandir fanna nyinna karola wo jata bal nying wo nyarandro anara kasoto jaman banko kan damen to alonko Johan Philip Precis Foundation wo kafo nying wolu nata puruka nyarandirota ka diata papsen la 2014 sango anara ke modi mialon ko ay soton duota ka ke nyarandiro dola ade papsen anara ka nyarandiro do soto mialon ko wole nata ka sotondi saferta mandir fannala Zambia banko nying ila karola anu ila bantala banko la kibari janjandir tamandir fanna kunda nying wol nata puruka kere kere kitabo nyinta mi yalon wala be denni ate papsen ala lonkan tamandir fannala mi yalon wala mo ala do ko nyinti ala sankala ya nyim fokata o soto nyinna karol ate papsen 2019 sangola mo fingolo mennu yalon ko wollel be kibar tani kibar janjang wala fannala america banko kan wolu nata kate tombon kake kewti mi yalon wala wane ata 2019 sango nyinna karol kibarol men yalon ko wollel keda kuma county ate papsen ay menta ka kere kere kibar tala nin kibar janjan na dindim mal la karola anara ka kumandro kela ko sike molti men yalon ko hormone bunya nin kulwo sewta ka tamandi anim fana wakilo nin durkoto nin sayo sew dundi la do ku tamandir fanna la karola ate papsen anara kumandro ke gambia banko dingol bela ko mol se kayrota ka sabatindi ako surtout mol kane nyatiling presde a carte fa o men na banko kanjang ade papsen anara fanan kayitan droke kumandro la fannala ko man sakunda nyanda ka sembentu andir bulo sotondi membe kala talaroti ni nata molu ila kibar janjam fannal ni na karola e kana mol menuta ka jo anim fanan man sakunda si lonkan na ful kere kere ota ka sotondi membe kala la farlanti kibar tala ni kibar janjam bundal la karola pour que mako no saje lanna tolu membe denni jamamo la muna fandir fannala wosike no sona andir fentino nya
Good grammar and spelling are important.
So now I want our class to be interesting, okay? What have we learned from this video? What have we learned? What voiceover do you see? Don't speak, okay? Let's allow them to speak.
It's like he is telling us what Papsen was saying. Papsen was not talking, but he's the one doing he's the one doing all what Papsen was saying. Yes.
So any other try? No, any other try?
He's doing an interpretation from what we are seeing in the picture there. Yes.
Any other try?
Okay, he is doing narration about what Papsen is saying to the video.
And the role that he played, he worked with a lot of international people. He also made mention of that.
All right. So let me say this. Can I have my mic back? Yes. Let me. Okay, you can try. Okay.
Yes, he was actually narrating a story, but this time around the previous videos that we see and this one is different, because looking at it, he was also trying to narrate his achievements, the role that he played and everything.
I have a guess, so I will play this for you and I will come back to the class. Some of us will wonder why the journalist did every talking when Papsen, you are seeing Papsen talking and you are not seeing Papsen speaking. Sometimes what happens is you go out to interview and maybe the audio was not coming, the mic was not coming. Maybe you want to do that, somebody deleted the audio. Do you understand? Sometimes you also want to be a creative journalist that you don't want to have the person talk, but then you want to bring everything on your own. That is when you understand it. If you don't understand something, you cannot say it. You cannot say it. So this is all about voiceover. Voiceover.
gaal bi amee yooni gannaaw bi nag yàgg na fii si biir dëkk bi di Gambia ñii di si awee di dem Italie ñii di si awee di dem Germany ku nekk ak fu la tax a jóg yooni gannaaw bi nag ñu bari ñàkk nañ si seeni bakkan waaye am na ñu bari si booy yi Babylon mbete Barsaaxa mu nekk loo xam ne nag ñu bari dañuy gaaw a di understand lu tax ndaw yi di si dugga waaye ndaw yi nag ñu bari si gaay ñu ne soo gisee ñuy dugga si yoon bi parce que si biir dëkk bi liggéey amut liggéey metti na ku am soo amee kayit foog nga xam fa nit ku nga mën a am liggéey ñu gis ne nag Keba mi bokk na si ndaw yi nga xam ne yaayam daf daan jaay si school bi foofu la yaayam di daan jaay every day yaayam di jóg di dem di jaay mu ne dafa bëgg a fompa rongo ñi yaayam ku yaayam bàyyi di jaay si marché bi si biir school bi loolu moo dugal Keba si yooni baakuwe bi
loolu man dama toogoon si garage bi ma toog dégg nit ñi yëpp ku nekk ne ma wax ne dañoo dem fay nañ ku nekk xarit ci ma amoon ñoom ñëpp dugal nañ si biir gaal bi ma gis ne man daal nekkuma koo xam ne daal man kenn maa fay dem suma morom yi yëpp dem toog comme loolu moo ma dugaloo si gaal bi.
doom bu bugg a yaayam la soo gisee mu génn di dem di dugg si gaal ko soo gis na yaayam coono bu mu nekkee ñun ñëpp dañoo tëdd ma eew 4 o'clock la day eew nekk si biti di tooga ba 8 o'clock ma dem jaay su ma ñëwaatee ma toogaat ma dem break time su break jeexee afternoon tam dama toogaat tamit ma demaat jaay soo gis na ne coono bu suma yaay nekkee nii te bu mu juddoo ba tey si coono boobu la ma fekk ku ma xam rek xam nga ne man si jaay lekk laa nekk léegi nag mu gis ne suma yaay coono bu nekk nii xëy na man tam su ma génnee ma jàppale ko dina mën a jóg si coono bi parce que daf di wax ne man su ma eewoo ma gis la si état bi rek dama dee mer loolu moo tax mu dem dugga pour ñëw daal teral waajuram yi.
waaw alhamdulilah moom sant yàlla wax dëgg yàlla moom laa la wax man la ndax xale bu fekkee dafa jóg pour ne moom dafa jóg pour liggéey mën a tekki wala toppatoo ay waajuram laa la mën a wax kooku mën na ko ooye dara lu baax ku baax rek nga ko mën a ooye exemple lu dëgg kon mu ngi mel ni yéen tam booy seen ngeen jóg di liggéey pour mën a tekki ëllëg ba seen njaboot xam lii lu dëgg kon nag loolu su amee amul lu dul buñ la mën a wooye lu ne ku baax nga rek parce que ku bëgg a baax loolu la mën a wooye
man réewut gisewuma ko ne ku réew la because nit ku nekk bugg ngaa teral sax gënaluma ko much daal because comme youth bi am na fu moo toolu nga gis ne lii man war naa ko mun a def te gisuloo benn yoon boo xam ne danga ko mun a defee
si yoon bi naka la gaay di dee lekkee ñu bari si gaay dañuy yóbbu ay sa
Okay, so you hear that the voice of the journalist is still reported saying that naka lañ dee lekk si yoon bi. When you were interviewing Keba, you already asked him that question that naka ngay lekkee. But when you are asking that question, you should not just play that question over there. But when you come back, that's the time you do it. So voiceover is not easy. That is why some people do not even do it. But if you want to be a professional journalist and you want to stand out, that's when you do voiceover. Even some of us, our programs, especially our shows, let's say Youth Bantaba, you feature one footballer. You can go and feature the footballer and come back and play it in a form of a documentary, very sharp. You can even win an award from that. Go and meet the person on the field. Interview the person, some of the challenges they are facing, and you come and do your voiceover. It will be very, 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 very nice. You see some of the comments. Aisha, you can read it for us whilst I play for the videos.
This one said, Mr. Joof is calling. Ousman Joof said, heart touching bro, keep it up. This one said, Jalo Fatu said, I am proud of you. Dauda J said, great job, GTTV. Gaza Job said, even if I am paid $1 billion, I will never ever take the back way. For what? Just to come to Europe? Never. This is pure suicide. Believe in Allah and trust Him. That was all the comments. So I think I can.
At the end of the day, it's very nice. Keba, all his brothers all travel. I don't know, sister. He's the only son of them all. Every other person is women. They're all ladies. So all of them are in German, in Italy. So I asked them whether those people went through the back way. He said no. So it means Keba's story is interesting, right? Will you bring me such stories? Huh? You're saying yes then. Hello, Mr. Joof.
Yes.
Hold on. Morning. We are not hearing you. I shall coordinate. Let me go and do my assignments. After you come.
Good morning.
Okay?
Can you all hear me? Oh, okay. Approximately how many people are present today? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I want to start by apologizing for the fact that I could not join the class earlier. It's a rough one for me. My heart and mind and brain is there with you guys, and I want to do this. My realities are not allowing me because lately I have quite a bit of things. The only other thing that can make this possible is for the time to be adjusted to around my 9 o'clock, which is 5, 6 o'clock you guys' time, and that will not, unless the class agrees, that's what would really work best for me. The 1, 2 a.m. class, 2 a.m., I will always try to make. It's going to be very tough, especially depending on what I have going on. And today is one of those days. I have an event tomorrow. But nonetheless, it's very important to me for it to get done. And that's why Fatu had to step in. Moving on, we will do our best to make sure that we give you guys some of those basic things that we need to take things to a more professional level. I want to encourage all of you guys to try to take things to that professional level, to try to do things differently. We would not, and I personally would not blame any of you for not doing what we are wanting you to do now, or what we think you need to be doing now, simply because you are all or mostly new in the field and are just passionate and love media work, but not necessarily have any experience. So we want to teach you and train you, and we want folks to take it very seriously because that is what it is. As a media person, whether a journalist, as a reporter, a presenter, or a camera person, we are here to tell stories. We are here to get people's voices heard, and we should help people to tell their stories. I want folks to write that down. As journalists, we are here to help people to tell their stories. As journalists or media personnel, we are here to help people tell their stories. As media personnel, we are here to help people tell their stories. Are we writing that down? Okay, what did I say? So we are here to help people tell their stories, whether as cameramen or as journalists. Our role is to help people tell their stories. If we are cameramen, every shot we take should tell a story. Every single shot we take should tell a story, should have a meaning. And I hope we have a couple of videographers here today. This is very beneficial. We work together as a team. The journalist cannot tell the story without, for the most part, the camera person, especially for TV. When the journalists are talking or interviewing people, and the people are explaining and showing us stuff or describing something, it is the videographer, the camera person, or the editor's responsibility to create that image in our heads, to give us that image. If somebody else talking was involved in a fight or 3 years in a demonstration, and ñu dog loxom bi a bulo kuntu, he or she is explaining, we want to see that loxo. Dañ ma jam xeer fii nii yambum berol la jam o berol dun tambulo kono moo duga si suma biir loxo bi ba tey jii noonu lañ doo gis ma loxo bi ci lopitaan bi xolal fii nu mel di dele. It is that videographer's responsibility to show us that hand. What role do the journalists play? By asking them questions, further questions. Then Dr. Lohovici 3 years jotna. 3 years jotna, 3 demonstrations, news or 4 demonstrations, in which of the demonstration then Dr. Lohovici. Who dug your loho? Who cut your hand? Where did they cut your hand? Was it in Joshua? Was it at Sting Corner? Was it at Westfield? Fan doge sa loho bi. So the journalists help to ask the questions. Now, after we get these things, it's important that we understand it ourselves. And after understanding it, you have to put that into context or perspective through storytelling. And that is what we call the voiceover. You come back to the office, you come back to the studio, and you do your recording, you play your audios, you listen to them, and you do your narration, explaining to us what you were just told by the person who said their hand was cut at 3 years judgment. This is very important because the person narrating, you only have raw footage. You can play the raw footage alone. It can still do the work. It would not have as much impact if you do the narration. If the person tells you, my sumaloho bi dañ ko dog at 3 years judgment, you, the journalist, you follow up with the person. You ask them questions. Kan mo dog sa loho bi? Fan lañ doge sa loho bi? Ye bulo kundumintole. At what time was your hand cut? Why did they cut your hand? What are you utilizing, if I may ask? Who said that? Excuse me? Who said that? Who? Yes. You are very right, Awa. You are utilizing your 5 Ws and H. So all these principles that we taught you are interrelated. And it's important that you guys understand these things. Because without it, you cannot go far. We don't just sit here, Mr. Joof got his sleep. Far to stop all her work that she should be doing for the day. Or we bring somebody else, like Renee Marcos, to come and talk to you. When I talked to Renee, I created the topic that Renee taught you guys or talked to you guys about last week so that you know your responsibilities. You know how folks in the diaspora and otherwise rely on you folks for information. The things you say or do can even be used in a court of law. I do interpretation, and just yesterday I was in court interpreting for the state. Last week I was there. You will be surprised that one of the online platforms came up. Their content was used as evidence in court here in Seattle because somebody who was part of the case was advertising with that online platform, and their content was used in court as evidence. You are a powerful voice. How you say things and narrate things go a long way and can make somebody's life or destroy somebody's life. And I want you folks to understand that. That's why we brought in Renee to support you guys by giving you that perspective of how your work and the impact your work is having on folks here in the diaspora and the type of things they want to see. So all of these things are related again. Renee had told you the type of things we look at, things that are happening in the Gambia. I keep telling folks, everything you do can actually be a story for you. Everything around you can be a story. It depends on the perspective you say that. I have told this, for example, the last time I was talking to Mohammed Baigarmi, I was in a bank when he called me, and I shared with him because he said, oh, he barely has access to stories A, B, and C. And I told him, I don't believe that is the case. I said, I'm at a bank right now. I can tell you 5 different stories from 5 different perspectives where I'm standing right here. The first thing I noticed is the bank had diversity. In front of me was a short Asian man. Behind me was a black African American man. Next to him was an American white Caucasian lady. Different people. So I could tell diversity in America, a story about diversity in American people banking. I could tell another story from a different perspective. The bank was very clean, and there was customer service. You have about 10 different tellers serving people. Everybody spent less than 5 minutes on the teller counter, and they were done. They were out of that place. Number 3, I could have told a story about how coronavirus has just impacted people's lives. While queuing, instead of everybody standing at one place next to each other, crowded and crumbled together, people were separated 1 meter distance, and everybody had to wear a mask. I could tell him another story, about 5 different stories in the bank that I was standing, just by looking around. I could tell. So all of this goes to show that our work is related, and all we need is to be observant for the most part. And I want you guys to write that down. What you need, very importantly, is to be observant. As journalists, what you need most is to be observant. If you are a keen observer, you watch, you look, you listen, you read, you will be in good shape if you apply your 5 Ws and H, if you apply your investigative tactics, if you apply your improvisation and substitute, and all these principles, if you apply what Rene Marcos told you about what the people in the diaspora are looking forward to and how much they rely on you for information. So you'll be looking at those rare things in the country that nobody is focusing on, and you focus on them. whether it's happening at the market, whether it's happening in your little neighborhood, your street, whether it's happening in your in the car that you are in, whether it's even happening at the Gambian Talent Office. If you are going to school somewhere else, is it happening at your school? Whatever is happening, you should help people to tell their stories. Vox Pop does not have to be 20, 30 minutes, 50 minutes long, 1 hour long. No. Vox Pop does not have to be 5, 10, 15, 20 different stories. Is it good to have different perspectives? Yes. Is it good to have diversity? Yes. But you can do a 1, 2, or 3 minutes Vox Pop, whether it's Vox Pop or any other story, a documentary. It can be short. In fact, we have the GPU award right now that we are putting in entries for, from stories and things we did last year. Guess what? They have changed some of the rules. They didn't have any limitation as to the amount of time per video or audio file you submit. But this year, according to their new criteria, I just had this conversation with Babukar and Aissatou Jallo 2 days ago when they were doing those entries. According to them, the award committee has said that if you submit a documentary or any video or audio clip, it should be between 3 to 5 minutes long. You just tell the story by bringing in short clips of what the people are saying. The rest, you narrate it yourself. You bring in diversity. Contact different stakeholders if possible. Su ngeen defee lii moo war, su ngeen defut lii moo war. Wala ñanta. Fu men ñantal be wala kela fata kela is a different story. Journalism, manke. Exactly. Journalism do wax bu rëy rek. So all of you that are sitting here today that want to be journalists, you need to make a concerted effort. As I was going to bed, I watched Kerfato's interview with my fatty until I slept off. Because I'm trying to keep myself aware and abreast of what is happening. I can't wait to have my fatty for an interview. I have so many follow-ups and different perspectives that I can bring him on. I watched lawyer Usainu Dabo reconciling Muhammad Al-Raji Bora. I read a few things here and there. I watched Fatsama Sisao and Mariama Pati's Semester Avenue at the airport. I was at my storage doing some work and just want to abreast myself with what is happening. You have to be aware of issues. I said these things to Maimuna Jaju and Aissatou Koli yesterday. As they do the Bill Gambia show, I told them the most that they need to do is to do research. My focus was on that. Bill Gambia can be good. It is the way you present is what's going to determine how interesting people will be about what you do. And you go out and do Vox Pop every day. People's views on this, Vox Pop on this, Vox Pop on that. Do people even watch it? How many people watch you guys' Vox Pop when you go out and do it? So it's the lack of the storytelling skill that actually deny you guys that audience. You may have good content, but you don't package it right. You just give people raw footage of what you have. Even your line of questioning as well. When we had a meeting on Wednesday, these things came up. On Tuesday, rather, these things came up. So first, we want to appeal to you because of your lack of experience and in-depth to consult or liaise with management as far as questions and if you want to do our concert. We understand that a good number of you, excuse me, now just get up and come and grab a camera and go, come and ask for a camera person, go, I have this idea, I have that idea. It's good to have the ideas. We appreciate it, and that's what we encourage you to do. Brainstorm and get some guidance, apply that, and use what you can, what you have. With time, you will be independent to do this on your own. People are here who I used to guide from the beginning, who I used to do almost everything for, put everything for them on a silver platter, and they go and do their box pop, come back, and we do the voiceover, and it's been working great. But we don't want to keep spoon feeding you 100%. Nekatu len halal, yangi mag ngeen nekk di janga, keba karang man buka jama keye. Dañ la lead rek, you just guided and shown the way. But it starts with you showing passion. It starts with you showing willingness to do it. It starts with you doing research. It starts with you investing time and be willing to invest time. So I am told that you guys have already watched some videos. Any questions, comments, or concerns for me? If not, I have questions, comments, and concerns for you guys as far as doing these voiceovers are concerned, but I wanted to give a general overview of what we are looking at and how we can relate the voiceovers in addition to what we have already learned, substituting what Rene Marcos taught you guys about the importance of your work. I mean, me saying that what you do can will be used in the court of law as evidence to prosecute somebody or release somebody or vindicate somebody, using your 5 and H, understanding that research is very key in your work, that you're supposed to help people to tell their stories. Any questions, comments, or concerns on this thing that I've been deliberating on for the past 10 minutes? You speaking? Okay. Yes, I can number. Yes, Slim. So concerns. So I want you folks to tell me what is a voiceover? Not only pick somebody from his sleep. Randomly pick somebody from you.
I give the mic to our champ already.
I would want to give it to somebody else. Our term has answered. He's the only one who voice I've heard so far. Let's use our give it to somebody else.
I gave it to
Please
Bintu Sinha.
continue to us.
Okay, I gave it to Bintu Sinha.
Okay.
Mr. Joof. Yeah, it's Bintu Singate. A voiceover is a narration done by a reporter, usually reading from a script. Yeah.
Are you on Google? Yes, Slim sound.
No, I'm not on Google. I'm not using Google, yeah.
Next person.
Say no.
Say hold the mic. A different
The reporter's voice is recorded. Huh? Voice over. It is the process in which I said it is the process in which an individual reports on a specific project where the voice is recorded on video clips. That tells a story.
All right, it's Sirif Konde. voiceover is a narration of a story, simultaneously also reading from the script while the video is showing the actions or the story.
Mr. Joof man la Awa Sow. li ma jàng si voice over mooy comme soo amee topic boo xam ne def nga ko ba pare ma ne voice over mooy comme soo defee topic bi da nga war a jël comme li nga xam ne nit ñi moom lañ wax nga tënk ko bu ci nekk nga kii ko daal nga gàttal ko ci noo xam ne ku koy déglu rek dina understand.
Some of you have already done some voiceovers for me, including Sirif Conte, and I think Mariama Fati. Some of you have already had the experience doing so. When you do voiceover, as you have said, is recording audio mostly through a script. If you do this in our local language, yes, you may be able to have a script, but for the most part, it's not necessary. You have to understand this. And we at Gambian Talents want to keep that as our strength, which is mostly doing programs in our local languages to educate the masses more so that they will understand. As we often say in Gambia, English is not our mother tongue. That does not imply that we cannot do programs in English, we cannot use English. Yes, we're using it and doing it. But our strength is the local languages, and we want to keep that so that we can reach more people. It could be done in any language, so I want that to be clear. That voiceover does not necessarily mean when we talk about this, we are not only referring for it to be done in English. So key, most important thing is to understand what you're doing. When you go out for Vox Pop, you should already have an idea of what you want. You should already know what you are looking for from people. Okay, fuel dafa ñaaka si dëkk. Let's go and find out the impact of fuel on people. You already have an idea. You're trying to see the impact of fuel on people. And your voiceover should definitely be able to tell us the impact of fuel on the Gambian citizens. It has cost the country millions of dollars. Folks could not go to work. Immigration, liggéeyuñ, because there is no fuel. Nawet tax na ba electricity dem na, because nawet mënuñu taal seen generators yi. Students miss school. If you're really trying to get the impact of electricity or lack of fuel in the country, you show us the parking lot and what is happening there, and narrate what is happening there, lack of fuel. You go to the gas station or petrol station and show us the petrol station and how the cars are queued there. Nakala moto irangi fufu. Nakala niti di fight sax di xëccoo fuel, how people be ñëw sabakam fuel nina. I'm told some of you go for a whole day, 3-4 hours to do Vox Pop, and you come over and bring 1 or 2 stories. Interview Aisha Tukoli, Sirif Conte is sitting next to him, the interview Sirif Conte, and that's it. You're supposed to bring in this diversity. If you know that you are going to look for the impact of fuel in the country, you should be able to bring us the people struggling for fuel at the gas station. You should be able to show us at the car park or at the garage how people are standing there. You should be able to see us probably some government, show us some government department or some place that the impact of fuel is causing. You should be able to give us sample stories of students and all the other sectors that the impact of fuel has caused. Water nekk yu fi tayal, water nekk yu fi tayal. And this, you don't have to even go far to get. Because so give me right at the garage, you may see all this variety of people, from students to government workers, probably to others. So they may send treasures known all around St. Treasures, LK, and all those places. You will see students there and its impact. You might be able to see a bank there. There might certainly be a government office there. There's a gas station right there, or petrol station right there on Kairaba Avenue still. Lima wax am na nda amut. Is this the perspective that you guys have been seeing things when you go out for vox pops and stuff?
Yes.
Who said yes? Hazali.
Yeah.
This is the perspective that you have been seeing things.
Yes.
Okay, and have you applied it?
No.
How come? In your role as either a videographer or a camera person, if this is the perspective you've been seeing things and you've not been doing it, I'll be disappointed to hear that, Hazali. Will you apply it moving on?
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay. So once you get these different perspectives, you come and you tell that in the form of a story. By doing research, by referencing things that have happened in the past. And that is where you having knowledge comes in. That's where you having knowledge comes in. And that is where you doing research comes in to find out what is the price of fuel, what is the cost of the lack of fuel in the country. You use your 5 Ws and H. When you know that, okay, you are going to look for the impact of fuel, lack of fuel in the country, you should use your 5 Ws and H to actually find out what is fuel in itself. You should be able to know. What is it used for? Su fekkee ne kerosene dañoo use, su fekkee ne gas oil dañoo use, one more monkey. Is it kerosene? Is it gas oil? Ban na si. Is it regular essence? One more monkey. Depuis kañ la monkey? Since when? Fuel is very important in driving the economy of any country. It is used by vehicle owners to be able to transport people back and forth. It's put in engines of different machines. For the past 3 days, the Gambia has been grappling with fuel shortage. This has impacted the lives and livelihood of thousands of Gambians. Women vendors at Serakunda Market depend generally on public transport to transport their goods and services back and forth to the market. The past 3 days have been hell for such women. According to Aissatou Koli, a cabbage seller at Serakunda Market, this and this and this and this and this. Aissatou added that this and this and this and this and this. When asked, how will the impact of fuel, how does the lack of fuel impact her? Aissatou said this. For his part, Serif Conte, a carpenter at Yuswang, said A, B, and C. Serif appealed to the government to do A, B, and C. reacting to why this didn't happen, Sirif had this to say. You don't even have to say much. You rek nga wax. You mel nonu rek. I don't know if you guys are following what I'm saying or what I'm doing and how and the things that I said. Did you guys follow it? This can be done in any language. Islam nag lu am solo la si réew ndax dinañ ko def si machine pour mu tax machine bi mun a daw ñetti fan a ngi nii Gambia ñu ngi jànkuwante ak ñàkkam essence ban loraange wala jafe-jafe la li indil doomi Gambia bi génnoon nañ kat dem si Serekunda marché pour seet marché Serekunda seet jigéen yi nekk foofu lan la leen di def ci seen ban gàllankoor la leen ñàkkam essence bi indil ci seen liggéey waxtaan nañoo ku mel ni Aysatu Koli di jaaykati am supame ci marché bi Aysatu kat mun nangam ak nangam ak nangam biñ laajee Aysatu ñàkkam essence bi lan nam ko indil Aysatu mu ne lii ak lii ak lii ak lii Serif Konte mi nga xam ne kapenta la si Juus Wang mu ne nangam ak nangam ak nangam biñ laajee Serif lan la nguur gi mun a def pour saafara lii Serif mu ne lii ak lii ak lii ak lii Serif kat yokkasi na ne lii ak lii ak lii ak lii ak lii xale jàngkat yi sax yëg nañ ñàkkam essence bi ak loraange gim leen indel Mariama Bii Faati jàngkat la kuy dem St. Teresa's Upper Basic School nga indi Mariama mu wax ñu ne waaw wax dëgg neex yàlla ñun dañ sonn si dëkk bi danga xëy bugg a ñëw school su fekkoon ne 5 o'clock ngaa jóg naka 7 o'clock ngaa jóg léegi da nga am pour jóg 5 o'clock pour nga ñëw dox Mariama kat yokk na si ne ñàkkam essence bi tax na ba kaaraange réew mi gën a wàññeeku waaw man sax suma mobile bi tey si suba dañ ko kof lii nii is too much government bi dañ war a def something pour indi essence leneen lan la ñàkk essence bi def waa dëkk bi nawet ñi nga xam ne ñoo amee wàllum courant beeg ndox bi seen générateur yi ndoxu ñetti fan ngir li courant bi ñàkk are you not helping to tell the story as I said at the beginning by just saying 1, 2, 3 words you don't even have to say a lot you don't even have to say a lot you just need to say a phrase or a sentence or two. You give a very good introduction, and I want you guys to write this down. Doing voiceover, you give a very good introduction. Write it down. You cannot introduce something you don't know, right? I hope that is already clear. I've talked about doing research and knowing the facts. So if you know the facts, you use those facts to do a very good, powerful introduction about your subject matter or what you are doing a voiceover about. Using your 5 Ws and H, your inverted pyramid. We've talked about this. I would hope that everybody knows what the inverted pyramid is. Do we all know? Our triangular inverted pyramid, do we all know what it is? Did somebody ask a question? Is who? Okay, you don't know what an inverted pyramid is, right? Okay, anybody? I heard others say yes when I asked. So those who say yes, can somebody tell me? Not use limb. Can somebody say what an inverted pyramid is or triangular pyramid we call it? It means what? Bringing the most important part of the story at the beginning. Who is talking? other tribe? Who is talking? Yeah, Chef, okay. Yes, the key message, the takeaway message, the most important message. You summarize that using your 5 Ws and H. You summarize that for us in the first statement that you say. Whatever you are trying to capture, we should be able to tell in the first statements that you make. So using your inverted pyramid, again, you've been taught about these things, you learned about these things. This is the time for you to apply what you have learned in theory. You apply them here. So you give us a very good introduction using your inverted pyramid. So whether you watched it in the videos, whether I told you during the class or other places, we expect you to put what you have learned into practice. Give us a very powerful introduction based on your inverted pyramid, based on research you've done and what you know, using your 5 Ws and H. Since when has fuel been out of the country been lacking fuel? In fact, Fanda de Kabide or the fuel. Maybe what is the cause of it? Maybe Gambia close her borders with Senegal. The fuel with Senegal la the UK. Maybe there's war in Iraq or Israel, and should fuel be Israel la the UK. Maybe there's election happening in Dubai, which is where our fuel comes from. Maybe there's election in America, and America decide they're not going to export fuel anywhere because Donald Trump said, the new exports fuel the funding. Maybe it's because of COVID. You need to know these basic things. It's not a joke. So give us a very powerful introduction. After you do the introduction, which doesn't have to be long, by the way. It doesn't have to be long. After you leave the introduction, now you go ahead and you bring us the people. As they're telling their story, you lead us to the people that would be talking or telling their stories. So write down, lead us to the people that would be telling their stories. Write down, lead us or lead the people, or lead us to the people that would be telling their stories. How do you lead us? Is by introducing the people. Well, we stopped at Serekunda Market and spoke to one Alaji Cham, or according to Alaji Cham, market vendor at Serekunda Market, or talking to Alaji Cham. You use any of these words. He had this to say. He said this. He added that. When we questioned him about this is what he had to say. Reacting to, allegations, or reacting to what the government say about this. Explaining how he sees this or how he knows that. You use words like that, phrases like that, sentences like that. Well, Alhaji also added that this, from there on, lead us to the next person. From there on, lead us to the next person. From there on, give us a little bit more narration. As you are telling us about the next person, I expect that you are bringing us diversity. Indel nañu Alhaji Cham, jaaykat yi defin la Serekunda marché. Indel nañu Aïssatou Koli, jaaykat yi am supermela. Indel nañu Serif Konte, kapinta la. Indel nañu Mariama Fati, student la. As you are bringing them, you are telling us who they are and how the lack of fuel is affecting their sector. So you are telling the story of the carpenter, the cabbage seller or market woman, the student. ñoom ñëpp ku si nekk dafa represent seen sector bi. You cannot go to St. Teresa's, go to the university, go to Pipeline Comprehensive, go to Ndaws, go to Methodist Mission, go to Gambia High, all these places. Can you go to all these places? Can you? Can you? No, you can't. So if you talk to one student, he or she represents the voice of the students. If you talk to one carpenter, he or she represents the voice of, all the skilled workers. If you talk to a market woman, a cabbage seller, she represents the people at the market, the vendors, different vendors. So you're helping to tell us the story faced by all these people. Now, what's the impact of the NAWEC on society or the struggles that people face during the rainy season? Show us very horrible images of the struggles people are saying or facing during the rainy season. From the health risk, ni di daanu si biir pax yi toog di jaay marché bi nga gis foofu num tilimi abe noori ñaame the risk of people's products or merchandise getting spoiled. Different kinds of things. So I said you give an introduction. What else did I add to it? Yes. Yes. Number 3, make references to important dates, times, and similar events that have happened in the past. And who can tell me what I mean by that? Make references to important dates, events, and times. Similar events.
Of the 3 years Jotna, the president, when he came to power, he was like, he's going to leave office after serving for 3 years. But then he changed his mind and said he's serving for 5 years because that's what the constitution said. Then if you are reporting in the case of the 3 years Jotna who went on a protest, you can still make references to what the president said.
Any other time? You are very right, Smith. You can make reference to that, exactly. And that's where having the knowledge comes in. And the new person who never knew about 3 years journal and why it is happening will actually learn that, okay, so gisee 3 years journal di génn ni ajee fitit because dafa am ku joxe woon promise, stick to promise am. The president gave his promise and didn't stick to the promise. And that is why they are coming out to protest to demand for him to respect his promise. Again, you help the people tell a story. You help the people to understand what is happening. So it's not only them interviewing you, param. No, you need to be able to help people tell the story. So you need to understand and know what you are going for. If you don't understand it, forget it. You would not succeed. It starts with you having a thorough understanding of what you are going for. It's not just them like you have 1 or 2 or 3 questions to ask people. That is not all. You are supposed to help us tell the story by narrating, by way of narrating it. And by narrating, you are just leading us. And you lead us by saying some short phrases, short sentences, etc. Asking questions. So you make references. It could be recalled that President Adama Barrow took over office in 2016. During his campaign, he promised Gambians that he would stay in power for only 3 years or Today, Nyomia Jamela said they promised to go back to the barracks once they restore democracy, the rule of law, and whatever. I mean, whatever. If you're talking about, the fuel shortage still that I was using, you may mention it, make reference to the things that I said earlier. Maybe it's Iran that was supplying us fuel, and they are going on a war right now. They have a war going on. Yalla tere, lolu motax mënu ñoo sob jox essence. You must do research to find out. And this could have been information you got from the expert already. You might have gone to, the Department of Petroleum or whatever to talk to them about why we are having a fuel shortage or whatever. The Ministry of Petroleum, to talk to them about it. Maybe that's the source of your information. Maybe it's something you found on the internet that is authentic or that is rumored. You should try, but to the best of your ability, to give us facts. Wherever you get your information from. According to a standard newspaper interview, the Minister of Tourism and Petroleum was quoted to have said that the lack of fuel in the country is partly because of the Gambia's closure of our border with Senegal. That's making reference. It could be recalled that 3 years ago, or the last time that the country experienced shortage in fuel was 5 months ago. And this is the third time the Gambia is experiencing things in 1 year. Is that not valuable information? Bi moy juróomeeli yoon gannaaw bi nga xamee ne dëkk bi ñu ngi ñàkk essence ci benn at. Bu jënteel bi mooy ñaari weer ci gannaaw ci April. Do research, give us facts, give us important dates and times. So when I talk about making references, you relate things, important dates, events, and times in comparison to what you are talking about. We are talking about 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes report here that can take you 2 hours of work, 5 hours of work, from the research you are going to do to the interviews you are going to do and the recording. So when you see a news item of 3 minutes, that's why media is expensive. It's only in Gambia that media is still where it is. That journalists and media houses don't get paid. People don't know the value of it. Why that 3 minutes news item or voice over you are doing or report you are doing or 5 minutes, it's key. It takes a lot of work. People can travel the length and breadth of the country just to come and cut it down to a 30-minute piece. As part of the entries we are submitting for the GPU award, last year we sent Nyom Aida Kebe to go to the 4 corners of the country, then into all the border villages to see if Gambia really closed her borders with Senegal. It's edited into a 30 minutes or so piece. You can watch this and you hear how Aida did that narration. We went to Karang, we went to Karang and Amdalai, we went to Farafenye Medina Sabah, we went to Basse, Nakala Basse, leave it to that, our border with Basse Fere. I forgot the other side of Senegal anyway, but we went there, we went to Kuloro, Fele, all the different border crossings between Gambia and Senegal to see did Gambia really close the borders with Senegal. This took us 3 weeks to produce. Guess what? It was all cut down to 30 minutes or thereabout. So 3 weeks of production. Halis Bubari, Akyono Bubari, Nyom Aida Lenchi Daj, for produce lulu. But at the end of the day, it was cut down to 30 minutes or thereabout. So you watch some of those things that we did. The next thing, in addition to making references to important days or events, what is also important is to bring in diversity. I've said it before. I'm not sure if you guys wrote it down. Bring in diversity, including different stakeholders. Because diversity, including different stakeholders, if possible. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but if possible. And this is something that you guys should learn to apply across the board. Whenever you go for interviews, we don't want to see middle-aged women all through the video. So get them put their vox pop or whatever. Try to get diverse people. Try to get younger people. Try to get middle-aged people. Try to get old people. Try to get men. Try to get women. Try to get folks speaking in different languages if you can. Whatever it is, the more diverse your stories are, the more representative it will be. I want you to write that down. The more diverse your stories are, or the people you interact with are, the richer your story will become. The more representational it will be. The more diverse your stories are, or the more people you interact with, the more representational it is. So Lee, because we are talking about voice over only, it is something that you guys should know and apply across the board when you're going out to do any production, even including in your shows. If you have shows you produce at the office, in the studio, or out in the field, you should be able to bring in diversity. Instead of bringing women, unless it's a women's show. Even if it is a women's show, you should still be able to bring in diversity by actually bringing younger women, sometimes older women. Sometimes you can even bring in men who will be talking about women-related stuff. You can bring men to interrogate them about women-related stuff. So it depends on who it is. It doesn't mean that it's a woman show, only women that are in it. You cannot bring in a man to talk to them about men who beat their wives. Is that still not about women and empowering women? Yes. But nobody see and then they think as in bopa alcohol fang restricted. Well, you should be able to bring in diversity. So I want you to write down, bring in diversity. It's key and it's important. By the end of your video, you should be able to have a conclusion or a takeaway message. A very powerful conclusion or takeaway message. What did people tell? What did your finding give you? When you do voiceover, you were finding something. To leave people with a thought. This could be by you making reference still to different things. This could be you asking a question to your viewers. Kunang boka yena ko digantor bila moy ñola dem nañ sere kunda wax nañu ak awa cham wax nañu student bi diw sangam wax nañu kapenta diw sangam ak kini ndax ñakum essence bi amna lum def ci dundi Gambia ni wala amut lum ci def ñu bàyyi ko seen loxo. You can ask a question. It could end in the form of a question. It could end with facts. Dégg ngeen li Awa Caam wax ak li Mariama wax ak li Bintu wax dafa mel ni ñu ñëpp d'accord nañ ne ñàkkam essence bi def na lii ak lii ak lii ak lii. If they all agree. If they disagree, tell us they disagree. These are things, by the way, that Mr. Joof cannot teach you. Mr. Joof can only give you the theoretical part. Creativity is not something I can teach you, and this is where your creativity comes in. How you end your stories. You have been taught about poetic license. I think, Slim, I had this conversation with you guys yesterday, right? You've been taught about poetic license. And poetic license is the power given to you as a poet or an artist or a creative person to be able to break the rules of even grammar to satisfy your artistic work, your artistic desire. And it's important that you write it down if this is your first time hearing it. Poetic license. Poetic license is the power given to you as an artist, as a content creator, as an artist, as a journalist, anybody in the creative world, because what we are doing is creative work. Anybody in the creative world can use poetic license. You can even break the rules of grammar. Instead of writing them as THEM, you can write DEM if you want. DEM. As a creative person, you can change it. Them is spelled as THEM. You can say DEM. You can break the rules of grammar. You can break any rule to satisfy your artistic creativity. Your artistic desire. So see ending me, yoya hamnaka creative fufu. There is no rule that it has to end with a correction because what not correct. These things Mr. Joof cannot teach you. Mr. Joof can only teach you the basics and the principles. At the end of the day, it is your responsibility to be creative about it. Look at what everybody has said. You try to make a conclusion out of that. What is your conclusion? Are you going to leave people with a thought for them to think more based on what they have heard? Are you going to leave them with a question? Are you going to leave them with a facts by explaining to them more help? What do you want to leave them with? There should be a takeaway message for them. What is your takeaway message to the people? Leave the people with a takeaway message. Write it down. Leave the people with the takeaway message. Leave your audience with a takeaway message. And the takeaway message should be based on your findings. Li nga xam rek nañu wara wax. Imam Menlong bul fa lifin. Su la nekkee nga yokka ci siim cere yokka ñeex. But it's not kumaba foo du wax bu rëy rek. Nga nekk loo xam ne teg nga ko ci yoon kàddu gi. So when you do voice over, and I want you to write these things down, you should pay attention to your tone of voice. Write it down. Pay attention to your demeanor. Pay attention to your comportment. Pay attention to your body language. Your tone of voice, your comportment, your demeanor, your body language, they all matter at the end of the day. Did somebody ask a question? A question? Who wants to try? Okay, go ahead.
I think it's demeanor means your environment.
It means what?
Your environment or surrounding.
Anybody else wants to try? It's called demeanor. DEMEANOR. the way you behave is somewhat similar to your comportment, your body language. Sa yaram bi naka la naka nga ko nekk di, I mean, lii yëpp dañ ko war a feel si sa voice bi. So which means your emotions should show when you're doing a voiceover, depending on what it is about, what content is about. If you're talking about something sad, your voiceover should depict sadness. So, I mean, I need you joy, then ko wara feel. You cannot be doing a voiceover and we can feel happiness in you. If what you are reporting is sad, people died, we should hear sadness in your voice. Even though we are not seeing you, we should be able to feel that you are sad. You are reporting something sad. These are very important elements, by the way. These are very limalena watni. I cannot overemphasize its importance or their importance. Your demeanor, your comportment, your body language, your tone of voice, all matter. If you are serious, if you are laughing, if you are joking, all of this we should be able to capture it. Even though we are not seeing you, we should be able to hear this. We know what the rest of the terms mean, right? From comportment, body language, and all of that. Yes. So when we are recording a voiceover, depending on the story, it is after you watch and you listen to the stories and everything, you should be able to lead us by explaining some of these things, by breaking it down. And your editor will use your voice and slide in the clips in between what you have said. So all these things matter. The next thing that is important is for you to write down is, if possible, do not stop when you start the recording or when you stop. And what I mean by that is subjective. So what I record a 30 minutes voiceover, it's impossible to them for 30 minutes without stopping. Partly what I mean for the most part, and this came up to us, is people come first day, they have research. Second day, they start recording. 3 o'clock, I need to go home, I'll finish it tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. If you start the recording today, you must endeavor to finish it today. That's what I mean. Do you know why? No. Do you know why it's important that if you start a voiceover, you finish it same day, at same place, same time? Okay? It's because the environment changes. The things around your environment change. Even in the office, right now, the mood there, the comportment there, and everything, the movement, people's movement, is all affected. When you are recording, the microphone picks all of these little environmental stuff. If you start today and you are recording, but somebody is talking on the other side, maybe with Mr. Joof, and you can hear her voice in the background. Sisuf moto you get peep 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 sere kunda banjul whatever. You can hear these things. Maybe so could you good fully you can hear part of it. That is the environment. That's what you are hearing. Come back at 3 a.m. in the morning. Degulo banjul bobu degulo lifin bobu nono. The voices are not going to be the same. Your comportment is not going to be the same. The mood you are in right now might be different from the mood you were in earlier. Maybe fajar gi jotna picca yi ngay diga ñuy sab o ganari nga diga kukoli ko ibe sisa wala kukoli ko le moy la maybe nodda bi nga diga ibe wadano le moy la jama ngoto. The environment is not going to be the same. And I can tell these things, and this have happened with you guys multiple times. People record voiceovers. They come and I request for it to be redone again because I could tell that they were not done in one time. I could tell that the feeling, the mood, the environment, the tone of voice, everything is different. They fluctuate. I don't know if I'm making sense. Am I making sense? It's going to be different. So that's why when you started, you should not stop it. If possible, to record it all at once. Don't stop. Serif Conte, you did one for me last week. Did you stop when you were recording it, or was it one go? Okay. Mariama Fati, I remember you doing one for me a couple of weeks ago. Did you stop, or was it one go?
I stopped.
You stopped and did it again, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, how was your comportment and body language and demeanor? Did you think anything changed?
Yes, maybe.
Your voices can be louder, and I'm not talking to you about you, Mariam, but generally, if you do it, stopping too many stops, you need to watch your pitch. You know what pitch is?
No.
Anybody wants to try? When you talk about language or speech and we talk about pitch, what do we mean?
Do you mean P-I-T-H? P-I-T-C-H?
Are you on Google?
I am not. I'm asking you.
Yes, you probably on Google. Yes. Yes. Yes, so the pitch is how far you raise or lower your voice. You could be at the same pitch, the way you speak. It should be at the same speech. If you are recording a 10 minutes voice over and you have to record them in piecemeal, you record 30 seconds, you stop, you record another 5 seconds, you stop. You say, just like I was saying earlier, if you give us a good introduction and you stop there, you then further, waxtaan nañu ak Alaaji Caam mi nekk ci Serekunda marché moom tamit lii la si yokka you stop nga demaat ba si kanam Alaaji Caam mi si Serekunda marché yokka na si ne nga demaat ba si kanam biñ ko laajee lan la wax Alaaji Caam mu ne how will this sound at the end of the day? How will this sound? They will not be at the same level. Your voices will not be at the same level, right? That's why it is important you maintain your pitch from the beginning to the end. You do not, for the most part, to the best of your ability, don't stop it. So-called stop time it, hammer the pitch you are using, hammer the tone you are using. If you get distracted, make sure before you get in that studio to record or whatever, wherever you are recording, you use the bathroom, you do all of that, because trust me, by the time you go to the bathroom and come back, it can change. By the time you pick a phone call, it can change. When nga jël phone call, yàlla tere ñu ne la sa yaay dee na. When nga jël phone call, ñu ne la sa far bi wala sa jëkkër dafa biiral. Will your pitch be the same? Will your level be the same? Will your comportment be the same? Huh?
No, it will be different.
Okay, and that is why it is important that you do away with your phone, you do away with the bathroom, you use the bathroom, you eat, you do all that you need to do. Nga pare pour ñëw jublu si lii. Realistically, yéen da ngeen need to be a lot more serious when it comes to some of these things. Da ngeen need to be a lot more serious. This is not a joke. It's not a joke. Liggéey bi du yu fi caaxaan, du yu fi taxale. The fact is, this job is not a joke. If you want to be taken serious and you want to go far with it, foog ngeen pare pour ñafe si pour invest your time. We do a lot of things in an unconventional way, in an atypical way, and an untypical way. But seriously, this is what needs to happen. You should not be on your phone. You should not be, all of those things should be put on silence. Last week, Ida did one for me, and I told Adamaso or Lamin, I had, puh, 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 while Ida was talking. And they could do nothing on it. So I had to tell Adamaso, was it Musa or Adamaso? Yes. I told them that when you record, yes, it was Adamaso. I said, when you record the audio, before you put music or anything, before the person goes, listen to it together and see how well it was done. Because sometimes you waste time, record all of these things and come back and it doesn't work, or you can change it. Feka boromam dem na. Some noise could be on there. So make sure you listen to it. Your pitch should remain the same. Your comportment, your body language. Even if you are sitting down, you are sitting down, you are recording something as part of the same session. If you sit down at the beginning, you should sit down all through. Write these things down. These are little things that you need to know. So, defe voice over, the same voice over. You sit down on one part, you stand up on another part. Do you know that your comportment is going to change and it's going to be affecting your voice? Do you know that? Yes. So if you sit down from the beginning, you should sit down all through. Your tempo, your tone of voice, your body language, all of this should remain the same. If not, we will hear fluctuation. And man, I can tell, because I know these things. Talking from an expert perspective, if I listen to it, I will know this wasn't recorded in one day. If you record it, you are in the studio, a part of it. Tomorrow, nga record the production room. I can tell the noise and the background and in the studio is different from what will be in the production room. Do you agree? So ko inde si saal bi moom mooy yaa ngi xaru yaa ñoo rey ñu dee. This is important, and I hope all of you are listening to me. All of you, including Farsamba, should be able to listen to some of these tips. These are little things that I'm talking about here. Changing it, starting it today, Elengaje Kaliko, Kana Elengaje Kaliko, started the production room, there is noise over there, Adamaso is editing, there is a little bit of noise in there. Nenko Yogusi studio. If you go to the studio, for heaven's sake, start all over. Start all over from scratch. Start all over from scratch. So some of you don't take this class to be serious, but these are little things that people pay thousands of dollars to go and study. These are things that probably the schools that you are going to will not teach you. I said to Koli, have you learned any of these skills? Did you know any of these skills? You've been to a media school, journalism school. Have you been taught all of these skills? No. Exactly. Did you know all of these things? No. And you've been doing voiceover for Ngayafiton. Is the class important? Yes. Are we feeling it? Yeah. So I hope to see these things reflect in your work. Dogumas Manelawi, just for Wahakir rek to laugh and wine and dine. No. I cut it because I feel it's necessary. When the report was given to me about how things are happening and how we are coming and doing voiceovers at vox pops and not doing the voiceovers and how they have not been watched, and we have very interesting content. We are supposed to help the people to tell the story, to listen to the story, to be interested in it based on what you narrate. And if you do this, you will find out the difference. You will see the difference. And if you watch, Fatu told me that she has played some videos for you guys. It should not only stop at that. Go and watch the other ones that we have done. The other ones we have done. It's okay to ask for help. But this is how you build your confidence. If you do it right, it goes a long way for you. So it's not about the number of interviews you have. It's not necessarily linga interview lingua here play. If you interview people and they talk for 15 minutes, you just need 10 naka 1 or 2 minutes of what they have said. Not everything they say is important. You are supposed to help us tell the story based on the perspective that you wanted to bring it on. Yes, people can talk for 15 minutes. Is it all the 15 minutes that is relevant to what we're saying? No, because you cannot curtail people from talking. You cannot stop them from talking. Let them say what they want to say. Let them say everything they want to say. What you are interested in, the only part you are interested in is how does the lack of fuel in the country affect them. That's all you are interested in. Anything else they put in there, they can throw in. Hamgali government be baro daf ñu foyanto bila wala like ñun dinañ ko rey mu de. They can say a lot of other things. Your purpose was how does the lack of fuel affect you and the people like you. We are using you as a case study to sample the opinions of others who are in your field. So I hope these little things go a long way for you. When it comes to starting the voiceover, the time you are recording it, to not stop when you started, knowing that if you stop to go to the bathroom, come back, your demeanor, your comportment, your tone of voice and everything may change, your pitch may change. You pick up that phone call, it can affect you. You know, sa call like safar bi budil landay wala sa jekar or sa jabar wala something that is hurting you so much. Wala nga call diga somebody is crying or something, whatever. Even if you are giving good news, if you are recording a voiceover in which you are supposed to present a sad story, the next minute you get good news that visa being around apply American embassy Genana, so dan ko wara dem jeli at 5 p.m. How would you react to that? Will you continue to be sad? Maybe yangi commencé di haraba kula record sa. You would not do it. So when you do things, you do them right. Any questions, comments, or concern? I've talked about the conclusion and how important it is. You should have a takeaway message. Did we write that down?
Mr. Joof, I have a question.
So the conclusion is the final part. These are all extra elements I threw in there that are very important to consider, which is about the comportment, the demeanor, the tone of voice, the body language, sitting down or standing up. The room you are in when you started is where you should end. Even the table you are on is where you should end. Avoid going to the bathroom or using your phone or something. Make sure that you have the right state, you are in the right state of mind and ready to record when you record. Not be distracted by anything. Sometimes need a voice over and they get for heaven's sake, we should be able to tell others to respect it, that we are recording a voice over here, that they should be able to respect it till we finish, because once that door is open, it's going to be in the voice over. Or should I get anything stop and start all over again. Stop and start all over again. It's important to make mistakes, but make it all.
Is like, should you report the voiceover according to the story? Like, if it's a sad story, should you be emotional when reporting?
Exactly. I said it earlier. I'm glad that you captured it. That's what it is. Yes, if it is sad, we should show your emotions. Gui fakhana bankhas danuna. Tay kat rewi Gambia mu ngi ne selaw lan moo xew suñu njiiti réew ki nga xam ne moo jàppale réew mi ak ay ñoñam wala ñim doon liggéeyal ñi tax ba Gambia moom boppam tey ki nga xam ne moo njëkk a nekk njiiti réew mi te Alhaji Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara moo génn àdduna tey lii daaw na yaram ci at 22 ci Banjul lañ doon defee dëj bi njabootam nguur gi ba ci yeneen président yu nekkoon ci yeneen dëkk yi ñi bokkaloon liggéey bi sax teew si nañ tey nit ñi bari nañ bari boo xam ne ku sànni baatu Banjul mu toj Gambia jooy nañ Gambia ñàkk nañ kan mooy Alaaji Saa Dawda Kairaba Jawara waxtaan ni ñoo kii di jabaram di aawam di siitam di ci leel suñ ne diw baax na ndax mbokkam yaa ko wax ci liñ gestu magi Alaaji Saa Dawda Kairaba Jawara mu ngi tudda Kawsu Jawara Kawsu nag mu ne nga indil ñu Kawsu at the end kon dégg ngeen ko magi Saa Dawda wax na jabari Saa Dawda wax na ñeneen ñi bokkaloon liggéey bi seede nañ ko mbokk yi def lu baax a am solo ñi yëpp d'accord nañ ne Saa Dawda Kairaba Jawara ab kàngam la koo xam ne liggéeyal na réewi Gambia Gambia ñàkk na waaye ndax Afrika ñàkkut wala bokk àdduna ñàkk Saa Dawda Kairaba Jawara dem na yal na yàlla yokk leeram something like that your emotion should show depending on what you are reporting on. Any questions, comments, concerns? Moving on, starting next week. I guess you guys had a meeting and you've been told we are going to stop dropping people, whether it is shows you are doing, whether it is box pops and reports that you are doing. We want to see the status change. There is no people younger and people need to be a lot more willing. We have stopped for a minute. Every day, people are blowing up my phone. We have over 100 applications at every point. We do have it. And some of you know about this because it took you months following up with us about this internship and the like. Other people are interested in taking up contingency. We will bring them in. Management is busy doing a lot of things. We cannot do everything for you. I'll be quick to add that sometimes these scripts can be written for you, but you they won't put their voice over. You can put their box pop or to report on a project. Once you went for that project, you should be able to write your original script. Should you have editors who will edit them for you and stuff? Yes. But in this case, for the most part, we're talking about doing this in local languages. You need to be able to learn to do these things on your own. So whatever, that will help. If you have the skill, it will help you at the end of the day. It will help to build you up. So, but in a typical setting, you should be able to write your script as the person who went for the coverage or the box pop or whatever. You give it to your editors, they edit, they give it to proofreaders, they proofread, they give it back to editors until it gets to the editor-in-chief's desk who will show the final script or approve the final script for it to be given back to you for you to read as the voice over. Normal setting, that's what should happen. We don't have editors at this point. It's Mr. Joof that has been editing a lot of the scripts. At this point, I am very busy and I don't have much time to do so, but we can work together as a team. We are setting these things up. We are aware of it as a challenge, and that is why it's important that we always talk about having support or having help, because Mr. Joof alone more definitely. They pay salaries, they take care of the institution, they pay the rent, transportation allowance that you guys are doing, all of that spending, all of that money, and then also getting some of these extra things. So because having those extra things, you have the conducive environment, you have the equipment, you have the training that we are giving you for free of charge, and therefore you should be able to utilize this to learn to do some of these skills. And once you have this skill, trust me, it's going to benefit you here within the institution and outside of the institution. Now just listen to this. I just came to the bathroom. I was talking in Ahmadi. Right now, are you not hearing the noise of me opening the tap?
Yes.
Exactly. So if I was recording a voiceover, that noise is going to be in there, right? I was on my bed earlier. You could tell when I probably moved to the bathroom because the atmosphere, the environment in the bathroom is different from the environment that is on the bed. I was laying down at first. The way I sound is possibly different from the way I sound. I'm fully awake. When I first called, the way I sound is different from the way I sound now. Right? So these are all factors that you should consider when you do voiceover. So starting next week, when you guys do work, I want to start seeing these things reflected in the work that you do. You're having the training that people pay thousands of dollars to get. You're having it for free of charge. This class is very important, and all your colleagues should know. We have the Hamhamle syndrome here. When your colleagues come, they should watch this video. They should be able to engage with these things, and they should be able to learn these skills that we have taught you today, so that we will be on the same page.
Mr. Joof.
None of you is indispensable. We would want to utilize people to do these things. Uko munte def, joxe lengay sa morom def ko. Uko pare uko def, joxe lengay sa morom def ko. Can we brainstorm and come up with ideas? Yes. If 2-3 people go for a vox pop, they come back. You can brainstorm and put ideas together, and you can use that to do what you need to do. Is Ida Kebe here?
No.
Or not yet? Okay. I was going to say she plays the 2 minutes voice over a vox pop that they did that talk about there was one that they did that was very good from the university, and she sent it to me, which I was very proud of her and her team for doing. Things like that is what I'm talking about. But anyway, any questions, comments, or concerns?
Mr. Joof.
Okay, what about that?
Comme da nga wax ne comme sooy def voice over waruloo
Raise your voice, Nabia.
man maa ngi def lu ma mën ma ne nga ne sooy def voice over comme benn place ak benn time bi comme soo toogee foofu nga ko war a defee benn yoon waruloo jóg waruloo def dara ma ne comme nga ne sooy def voice over da nga war a toog benn place nga def ko léegi comme Mr. Joof ma ne comme nga ne sooy def voice over da nga war a toog benn place nga def ko léegi comme yaa ngi doon wax fii nii comme benn story about kii nii xawma Dawda Kairaba Jawara comme deyam bi xam nga boobu soo ko dee def comme sometimes sa rongoñ mun na moo rot fekk yaa ngi def voice over léegi soo jooyee ba munatuloo comme wax voice over bi nooy def.
Very good question. I want to make this clear. At the beginning, I told you guys that Mr. Joof can only teach you the basics and the principles, but I cannot teach you the creativity. Creativity level be for indie. So I just use some examples. Munga talk, munga tahaw. There's na fum neka. I'm na yena voiceover. So code if in fact professionally you will be in a studio, and so in a studio they record for the most part. Danga tahaw. Songs in produced not long ago ni artists in neka yep. I mean the voiceover in depth artists yep. Then tahaw for the most part when you record. You can stand, you can be sitting down. I don't have lulu. There's not much rule. But si no ko started al si position boko started si gatal. The rule is the position you started in, you must try to end it in that position. Because once you move, you are creating a recipe for your voice to be different. Once you move, if you started standing up, you should end it standing up. If you started sitting down, you should end it sitting down. If you started laying down, I'm not saying which I don't think is a right thing, you should end it laying down. But coming back to your full question about you doing it and you are emotional, that makes it more powerful. Continue. If you stop because you are very emotional and your tears are coming down, once you finish, continue where you were. That just makes it natural. But you should be able to know your pitch that you are talking with at every point. It should not be louder or higher, and it should not be lower as well. So for nga by health, sa health. I wish there was a way to measure your pitch. For nga xamne okay, feel a small pitch BM, feel a small body language bi ni da don def wala suma di. I wish there is a way you measure it. Unfortunately, there isn't besides sa xel bi. Yow ya ko by health sa bir xel bi. This is how I was sounding. And that's why it's good for you to stay there. So génnee fi nga nekk noonu si studio bi ne yaa ngi dem si wanag bi ñëwaat mun ngaa teseeg si saawa mu yabaate mi mu start di la poog wax loola ba nga fàtte nga dellu si waat nga commencé di def yenn yi or sa language would change or sa tone of voice or whatever would change. So you can take a break if you need to based on those realities because mënulooy continue jooye nga fine. You pause, then you continue. But to the best of your ability, you should try to maintain it at the same level. Same pitch, same tone of voice, same body language, same demeanor, same everything to the best of your ability. Make sense? Does that answer your question? Yes. Any other question, comments, concerns? So when we come next week, I want to start even over the weekends. If next week, so some of you are going to be here on the weekend. When you go for vox pops or when you're doing a voiceover over anything, I would like to see these things. When you go out, one key important element is you should know what you want. So them, time election like neka. Are Gambians registering for election? For the election. You know what you are looking for. You know what you are looking for. You should know it. Yow yaa dem di laaj ni tanga bëgg xam da Gambien ci ngi register pour am voters card o nekkuñ ci register. Loolu moo la yóbbu am nga ko. Naka la taw bi nekkee di affecté nit yi ci marché bi. Xam nga ko. You should be clear with what you want before you go. Because if you are not clear, you cannot even ask the right question to people. So you should, for you to be able to ask the right question, you should already know what you are looking for. Okay, so let me get one takeaway message from each of you. Since I'm not any further questions or comments, let me get one takeaway.
Mr. Joof. Okay, man li ma understand mooy comme voice over boo koy def danga war a wax Mr. Joof man voice over li ma si jàng mooy comme soo ko war a def li ngay wax dafa war a méngoo ak sa jëfin bi comme sooy wax loo xamante ne dafa daw yaram waruloo nekk koo xam ne yaa ngi reetaan wala dara sooy wax loo xam ne dafa daw yaram da nga si waxin bi nit ñi dañu war a xam ne kii li muy wax loolu daw na yaram waaw loolu laa si jàngat. ah.
Mr. Joof is Aminata.
Okay.
Okay, my concern is like, for instance, at times you will go out for a vox pop and the manager will be like, in a team, someone should revision and do a voice over. So if you are to do voice over here, sometimes you will be distracted. If you say people not to open the door, people are recording voice over there, they will be still open the door. So I don't think here is good to record your voice over because it's very noisy.
Well, so when we had our meeting the other day, and I'm glad you said this, it's not right
I said it in my deliberation earlier, and I will bring this up to management level right now when I'm done with you guys. Thank you for the feedback. I've said it earlier that when you are recording, sometimes I have heard doors being opened and shut. I've heard other people talking. We are in a media house and we should all be privy to that. Number two, on a normal setting, we should be able to have added walls with sponge and stuff to be soundproof to make sure that any sound coming from outside cannot enter. Unfortunately, we are not at that level. Our studio is not added as a soundproof studio yet. So when people are here, all of you, sometimes you go to Lava, and talk to people, hey, nekul master Bible or nekul master, I'm not part to say that to some of you guys. So we need to be quiet and understand that we are in a setting that requires quietness for the most part. So need to be so in things like this that you are trying to do at a professional level, what I'm doing, I'm kind of so it's important that all of you, starting with Indifimeka, so in there's voice over, being recorded or a show going on, folks should be able to respect it. Sometimes even I'm having meetings, we have very important guests that we are having meetings, and I have to tell people to leave the meeting to come and address you folks, because I can hear you voice in the saal, in the living room area, in the main area. I hear these things in the lobby area or in another room. And it's not okay.
Yes.
So people need to be very open. But number two, and I hope you guys were told this during your meeting, we have agreed that people should be able to be flexible, because we had the concern that some of you raised, that you come and computers are not enough, you don't have enough computers to do this, to do that, to do research, to edit, to shoot, to do this and that. And we are aware of all of it. We are not claiming to be a perfect institution. Still, the resources are not enough. So we expect here, flexible, to adjust your schedules, for the most part, to come in the morning, sometimes afternoon. If those of you can come nights, you come nights. As long as you are willing to learn, those of you who come in the evening.
Muntata for more million jama wala lenyim pengota coronavirus musasa sotoringansi anding amala nyimukeleti wala nyimusuleti aman sibo nyoto mo wili jama fata findu banko kan wala lenyi sasa soto anding ay fale coronavirus man jaral soto bari fanan akibar bima mumunti ay pengu soto le African Oriental Store Africa America kono mole season fengol sotalie anin fengo mume be aliye mume ya Gambia banko kan tuluse da sama jorangol kan beef African Oriental Store nyilale fengol natalie falla bunda ko ngoto mole nete tuwo sotalie tiamun ko sefo subo African Oriental Store nyinom bitikoti mu yale sulata fengo fenna isa soto no jele na mano sotalie le mirango tame nyintingo andi churayo anin fana manyina ke wala muli yalon ko walal buka bambang ila futu bungo kono na borol sotale boro mi yalon ko asema ko ino ila futu larango kan wali abayal sotale samato anin abaye façon jamal mon manyina ke wala muli yalon ko walal kala fi haftano la na tobano sotale anin churayo iba dawon daranding ñu US anin Canada banko kan isom ordering kalele website to mumu www.orientalafricanminimart.com ka sipin fanan kalele African Oriental Store Africa America kono bata banta fere